Welcome, moms. Welcome to Inside the Moms Club. I'm your host, Monica Samuels, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Julie Orchid.
Hi, Monica.
Hey, Julie.
Haven't seen you in a while.
I know, it's been a while. We've been on a little hiatus here as we travel around, especially Julie. She's really been traveling. It's hard to keep up with you, but...
Well, this summer has been a hot one.
It has been. We have been super busy, but we're glad to be back. And in fact, we are in a new studio.
It's so pretty.
I mean,
this is my favorite color.
Isn't this nice?
I'm feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel so relaxed here. It's really super. Well, the thing that you pointed out to me as we were in the new studio is that they would see our feet. So you ran across the street this morning and got a pedicure.
Like a rapid
and now you put
pedicure.
Shoes on your feet, so
yes,
I'm not sure what that was
know.
about, but oh well. But today, because of the show we're doing, I am wearing my dog rescue shoes.
I hope we get a shot of that because those are the cutest darn shoes.
These are.
Did you buy me a pair, dude?
I can.
Oh.
They're from Skechers.
Okay.
And Bob, it's called Bob's, I don't know. They donate money for animal
They're
rescue.
absolutely adorable.
And so now,
I'm a big fan.
I love them.
I mean, I have a doggy raincoat, so I think I kind of need the tennis shoes.
Yeah. They also make them for cat lovers.
Oh.
Which I'm a dog lover, so.
All right. Do they have any ferret?
No, but if they come up with a ferret shoe, I'll definitely get you one because I know you loved Stinky Smoky, yes.
Stinky Smoky has its own, story.
Yeah, but that's another.
The point being is that we are obsessed with animals.
We are.
And
we're very obsessed with animals. And I've even become more obsessed this summer.
I didn't get to see you, but you have all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but every day and a few hours at a time, I've seen you scrolling and wanting to save animals. And how many would you have if you could?
I have a passion for that. Oh, I don't even know how many. But right now I've got 3. I have 2 dogs, but my son has a rescue dog. Max.
Yes, Max.
And so that's really where I got interested in rescue animals initially. So
yeah, Max stole your heart.
Max stole a lot of things from me in a way.
Yeah,
Max.
Putting it mildly.
I love Max, but Max has been a challenge at times.
Yep.
But it's worth it. But it's not his fault because think about it. He was rescued by 4 frat boys.
Yeah.
Operation Kindness in Carrollton, Texas, let 4 frat brothers adopt a puppy, basically.
I mean, I think it's actually kind of a good thing.
Well, an SMU kid, so they pretty much knew that this dog was going to live the life.
He was going to live really well.
and so that was the life that Max started, was in that environment. So
he's social.
He's social. So this last weekend we were having a big party at our house. I wasn't. My son was. In the backyard, by the pool, there were girls and guys and all that going on. And Max was dying to get outside. And
he's a frat dog.
Yeah. I mean, so I let him out and he just mingled and he was living his life. That's where he's most comfortable.
Yes.
But that isn't always the best situation.
I would agree.
But
we have a problem in the United States that I'm really, really, really glad that we're bringing to light today because, I'm glad that they adopted the dog. But again, the situation might not be ideal for, I don't know.
Well, that's why I specifically wanted to do this show because I wanted to help, but I thought, how do I help?
Right.
I don't really know how to help. And one part of the reason I wanted to help, we have a Zoomer mom today who will be joining us later who inspired this in large part because I just kind of got obsessed with helping those dogs in Clayton County, Georgia, even though I live in Austin, Texas.
That's okay.
And I think this is super important. And when I was trying to decide, well, who do I ask? Who do I talk to? How do I get involved?
Right.
I immediately thought of, remember our sponsor, Farmhouse Fresh. And when we went, they have a skincare company based in McKinney, Texas. They have animal rescue is a big part of what they do. They have a farm where they rescue, that's an animal sanctuary and rescue place. We went to it.
We were lucky enough
as we say.
to go and tour it, and it was really a cool experience.
It was inspiring, and I loved it. And we then, as you do these things, I started following
Yeah.
one of the co-founders on social media, and I saw her as she was rescuing a dog named Todd. And it was, I mean, it just warmed my heart. So I thought, I know who to ask.
Yes.
And today she's been so kind as to be our guest. And what I learned is that Farmhouse Fresh in 2017, during Hurricane Harvey, they got together and funded a large-scale dog rescue transport. And our guest today, who has been for over 15 plus years a dog rescue volunteer and a foster parent,
Yep.
decided to start an organization, a 501c3, called Archangel Animal Network, which is a nonprofit and is dedicated to the rescue and transport of shelter dogs. And since 2019, they have rescued or transported for rescue over 5,000 dogs, Texas dogs. She is she'll tell us all about it.
Okay. I want to hear the details.
The vice president of sales and the co-founder of Farmhouse Fresh. Please welcome our friend Delia McLinden. Welcome to the Moms Club.
Hi,
Delia. Thank you.
It's so good to see you.
Awesome intro.
Well,
thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here with you all today.
I am thrilled that you're here. Thank you so much. I know. And I just like, who can I, because here's why I think this is an important show. And I want everybody that's listening, listen to the end, because you're going to get so much information. You're going to learn a lot, and hopefully you're going to save some shelter animals. And that's so important. Because when I started getting more involved in this, I was like, what do I do? And then when you start, you get stopped a lot. And the reason you get stopped a lot is because people will tell you, oh, that organization, they just take money. They're stealing from you. They're, that's a fraud. You're like, well, where do you
even begin? What's valid? What's not valid?
So I knew that you were involved in this because, like I said, I watched you love Todd in a way that meant so much to me. And I know Todd is still part of your family. And so I thought that was so tremendous. And I'm like, I know who to ask about this. And so I immediately went and asked Delia, like, what can we do to help? And so my husband and I decided to help your Archangel Animal Network. And we're so thrilled that we were able to do that. But one thing we wanted to make sure that we did is we were giving to an organization that was truly going to make a difference and help rescue these dogs. And you also connected me with a woman in Fort Worth at the Animal Control in Fort Worth, and she shared with me how poorly dogs in Texas, I guess there's 1.5 million dogs and cats euthanized in America every year.
That is unbelievable. I really did not know the number.
Yeah, and sadly, Texas leads the way. So
exactly.
Tell us, so how did you get involved in this? Where did it start for you? Because I know where it started for me, but you share your story.
Well, much like you and Monica, I just have to say kudos to you for being curious and wanting to know more, because I think so often, we see sad things or we hear sad stories and we're just like, oh, that's so sad. Somebody needs to do something. But I'm someone, you're someone, we're all someone, and we can all do something, and we may not know what that is, but to your credit, you reached out to me and said, hey, I'm seeing all these posts of, puppies that are in danger and are going to be euthanized. And how do I make a difference? And that's really how I started too. Many, many years ago, it was literally just I know I love dogs and I want to help them. Let me just kind of start by fostering a dog, and I'll volunteer, and really just learning along the way. And I think sometimes just as humans, as busy moms, sometimes we don't just even take that initial step to be curious because we're like, oh, it's too much. I can't handle one more thing. I don't want to do anything else, but we can all do something. And to you told a little bit about how I got involved in rescue transport specifically. It was through Farmhouse Fresh, as you eloquently introduced. We knew after Hurricane Harvey, there were shelters that were just packed full, and the shelters needed to be evacuated to make room for the other dogs that were flowing in, and cats and all sorts of things. And we didn't know what we were doing, but I had sort of been involved in rescue transport volunteering for other organizations before, and said, you know what, why don't we coordinate something? We know some rescue groups in Minnesota. If we can find a place to send the animals, let's figure this out. Well, long story short, it was complete chaos. And it was just, I mean, like a lot of things that we do, you know, I was like, never again. We're never doing this again. What a nightmare.
Right.
However, we saw these animals, and these were the animals who had already been in the shelter, and they were in pretty rough shape. But we saw them when they landed in a different spot, a spot that was willing to take them. They got adopted so quickly, and they lived beautiful lives, like animals that were, you know, sort of throwaways in certain areas of the country, were welcomed by other areas, you know, that had the capacity to take them.
So, Delia, you bring up a good, go ahead.
Some beautiful happy endings.
Yeah.
So you bring up a good point. I read that these northern states, why is that such a hot spot for all these animals? I'm just curious. I mean, obviously, we're not doing a great job in Texas.
And why are Texans so unkind to many?
What's our problem?
I mean, it makes me...
Yes.
I think the people that need to be in the shelters are those people.
Question. You know, Texas and many of the like southern states, they don't have a lot of strict spay-neuter laws. States that have warmer climates, animals are often allowed to roam, and if they're not spay-neutered, they're going to reproduce. There are a lot of southern states, and some states don't have laws surrounding animal cruelty and breeding and puppy mills. So there are just too many animals in many states. Texas ranks #1 in the amount of animals that are euthanized. California is up there, and then it kind of goes down from that, some of the other southern states. So by sending animals to places that don't have that level of overpopulation, they can get adopted more quickly. And, you know, whereas they might not have a chance in some areas. And Monica, that's what, you know, we're going to partner on with your, you know, donation, and is to sponsor some of those transports. And that's what Archangel Animal Network has done, is to say, if we can just, you know, get the animals from a place where there are too many to a place where they have a chance, it can really, really make an impactful difference.
So how to just educate, basic education here.
Yeah.
How do these shelters, so a dog, and people often think, oh, I see online, oh, there's been a lost dog, I found a lost dog, oh, take it over to the shelter, and they'll find its own, the owner will connect with it. But on the other side of it, when I've started getting involved in this, I've seen this dog arrived in the shelter 2 weeks ago, and it's now on the euthanized list, you know. So how do they decide how do those decisions
what's the
make?
Decision?
I mean, if it was a vicious, you know, serial killer dog, then I don't have I get it. But if it's a sweet, loving dog that might have been someone's pet, then that's terrible. So how do they generally do this?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, you know, lost animals should go to, or be at least, the very least, reported to, you know, the animal shelter in the area. So if there is a chance that, you know, there's somebody looking for them, they can be reunited. What happens is lost animals will go to an animal shelter, and they will typically have a stray hold where they can't be, you know, adopted out or euthanized. And typically it's only a couple of days that you have a chance to reunite with your dog. A lot of times that doesn't happen, and the dog was dumped or it was stray. And so what animal shelters do is they will evaluate the animals, and they'll say, okay, does this seem like a, you know, adoptable, healthy animal? Okay, well then it should be available to, you know, be adopted to the public. But there are just so many animals that even great ones get lost in the shuffle. So in an ideal world, of course, we want, you know, animals to be reunited with their owners, but that only happens, you know, a portion of the time. And a lot of them are truly animals who are in need and need a second chance. So I think the thing is, shelters now, most of them are very savvy in that they can say, okay, this dog is not an adoption candidate, or it's not a candidate to be, rescued and sent on a transport. It might be aggressive, or it might be too sick, but that's a very small minority. Most of the time, it's just animals who, have somebody doesn't want them, or somebody gets them and, can't take care of them. What happened a lot during COVID is a lot of people adopted pets, and there was a surge of adoption. And then people went back to work. They're like, what am I going to do? Oh, I can't afford to take my dog to doggy daycare. And then the dumping started, and just everything got saturated.
Well, yeah, that's what I saw. Like on a lot of these shelters, you look at the ages of these dogs lately. They're about 4 to 5 years old. A lot of them.
Exactly when COVID was.
It was perfect with the COVID puppy that you got.
So Delia, do you and this is kind of a question that I'm wondering about. Like, you say, can you foster? Can you do this? Like, I do laundry occasionally at Austin Pets Alive, which is, according to what I'm seeing in the laundry.
You do laundry?
Yeah, they need
It's
a massive project.
Yeah. Like, being the kind of dog parent I am, I thought maybe it was their sweater or something.
No, it's not a dog clothing, Monica.
Right, sorry.
It's you know what I mean? The blankets, the towels, like everything it takes to run, you know what I mean? Because I'm afraid that if I go and pet a dog, we know that I'm either going home with it or I'm going to be fostering. And this may be a silly question, but a reprieve for a dog to be fostered, what is it like? Like you can do it for a certain amount of time and then you have to send it back? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that helpful to the animal? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's many ways to help, but I know it seems like a silly question.
Well, what are some of the different what are the volunteer opportunities? If you go to a shelter, what are they going to be asking you to do?
That's a great question, because there are so many, and I think a lot of times people don't do it or don't investigate because they're like, I can't adopt another dog. I'm going to fall in love. But you know what? Even why I think that we have such a pet overpopulation problem is because people truly don't understand, like, that there are great animals in the shelter, and you could even just be a volunteer. One of the most useful things is if you can get over that, if I go, I'm just going to want to take them all home. Go and say, you know what? I'm going to go walk dogs for the day. I'm going to take my teenage daughter or son who loves animals too. We're going to walk dogs. And just the quality of life that is giving that animal helps them to become more adoptable.
Oh,
and
good point.
Furthermore, you take a picture of the dog that you take out to walk. You post it on social media. You describe it. And then all of a sudden, that becomes an animal that, people can say, oh, well, that's not so sad and pathetic behind bars. Okay, look how happy it is. And so anything to get the animals out and get them some exercise.
That's an amazing point, Julie, to make it adoptable.
Washing their blankets. Makes them happier.
Providing some love. But we do have these cute little vests in Austin when you walk around the lake, and it says, I'm for adoption and I'm adoptable. And, and you're walking in and people are like, oh. So, So thanks for explaining that. As you know, Texas had a really, really rough summer. And we had the Kerrville floods, and it's a very sad situation. What went on with all the animals? Do you think that most have been reunited, or
it's really hard in a place like Texas that is already, overpopulated. Hopefully, a lot of them were, reunited.
Yes.
A lot of times, when you have a devastating tragedy like that does get a lot of press, it can be a good thing because then groups come in and they want to help. And so they may have, taken some of the animals out of the shelter to free up some room so the animals could get reunited. So sometimes it's a good thing.
Okay.
So yes.
I agree. The publicity probably helped on that. So for sure, you know what I mean? Having some screen time for people to be able to see that. I actually envision you and I getting a little doggy van, and now we're going to be delivering animals all the way up where Delia's living now, and dropping the road trip.
I don't have a problem. You're used to driving. You drive your dogs all over the place. So you're used to that.
I do. I actually took my dog to drop my daughter off at college this weekend, and she's like, are you going to help me move in? I was busy. She was a celebrity and the people were petting her and it was really helpful to the people. So dog love is no joke. It's the real thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
I almost brought her today.
Well, I wish you had.
I had.
I would have loved to see Scout here today. So so there's some judgment from some people, like the breeders, the people that go to buy a dog. I've heard some people who are very like, if you bought your dog, then I hate you or whatever.
Yeah.
Which then means they would hate Julie because she has 2 sheepadoodle. I have 3 labradoodles, so I get it.
Yeah.
No, I had 3. One's
passed away.
Passed away, yes. But
Yes.
But there's a lot of that. Now, I did visit with a trainer the other day, Max's trainer, who he frequently goes to see. And I asked her, I said, what do you think of labradoodles? And she said, I hate them.
Oh.
And I'm like, why do you hate them? And she said, well, I'm going to tell you the truth. Labradoodles, when they were multi-gen Australian Labradoodle, the original, whatever, she said they were great dogs. But now you've got all these people that are calling themselves breeders, and they are not breeding great dogs, like healthy, or there's issues with them. And now there's way too many of them. And now you've got every kind of doodle combination, except I haven't seen a pit bull doodle. Have you seen one of those yet? Which I think the pit bulls, they actually need the PR. So they really
100% there is one out there for sure.
But how do you feel about that? The element of the breeders that are, that kind of thing. And then there's the puppy mills that have always been bad.
Like there's the backyard breeders that we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, it's such a tough subject because, like anything, if it were done in moderation, it wouldn't be a problem. But to your point, a lot of greedy people saw, oh, I can make some big money by putting these this is the hot new breed of these type of things, and I can put these together, and I can make it, they're hypoallergenic, and I can sell them for this much. Well, it's just gotten out of control, and so it's kind of the people who kind of take things to the extreme, and what ends up happening is some of those really bad breeders, they get tired. They're like, oh, I'm not selling these dogs as quickly as I thought. And then they dump them in shelters. Wow. And we're now seeing lots of doodles in shelters now and in rescues. So it's sort of to the point where, and I think people don't know this. And I think, and I was many, many, many years ago, my first dog as an adult was an English bulldog from a breeder, because I thought, I want this type of dog that looks like this, that acts like this. And when you don't really know any better, and you don't know that is available in a rescue or can be found in a shelter, it just maybe takes a little bit more looking.
Right.
But when you start to learn more, and I think just where we are now, I think as people are becoming more educated, and the fact that you have doodles, it is what it is. Your next one, you can adopt it. You can spread awareness. You can, like I'm saying, okay, yes, I did buy a dog from a breeder. And if I had known now what I know now, then, I wouldn't do it. I just had no
Exactly.
Well, I feel the same way. I mean, Julie and I were talking about that.
We
never even thought about that as far as it was sort of an experience that a lot of people were having. Like, oh, I go to the breeder, I get to pick the dog, I get to watch they send me puppy videos. I mean, it's almost this whole thing that they create as you're going through the process. Well, I would love you. So the other thing I see a lot in when I'm looking at these various shelters and available dogs, lots of pit bulls, and I know you have them. Yeah. Can you give your very best advertisement for why a pit bull is a great pet?
Because they're lovers. They're really lovers at heart, aren't they?
They've gotten very bad PR rap. So
this is my favorite topic. Thank you for asking. Many, many years ago, I actually used to work for a no-kill organization called Pets Are Worth Saving. Chicago's largest no-kill organization. They were a very big deal. But when I worked for them many years ago, we were not allowed to rescue pit bulls because they were considered bad and a liability and aggressive. And those aren't family dogs. And, nobody wants, we don't want to take that on. And that was many, many, many years ago. And then I had some personal experience. I found one. I found one tied to a dumpster, and I brought it home. My son was 3 years old, and my husband was like, "What are you doing? Like, that dog's gonna like rip our throats out in the night. Like, no." And I was like, "It's just a dog. Get past the like, this is the sweetest dog." And so I really just started to look past the facade, and then I started to meet some others. And the reason that there are so many is that they get in the hands of a lot of people who breed them and want to make money and think like, oh, I can sell them for this and this and this. And I just I've fostered and volunteered with every type of dog out there, from Shih Tzus to poodles to Mastiffs to Shepherds to everything in between. And I have just met some of the most wonderful pit bulls, and I just love them. Have I met some that aren't suitable for adoption? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And that's where it's important. But there are also shepherds and, vicious chihuahuas that wouldn't be good with families.
A chihuahua bit my son on the face as a baby. So I'm not like the biggest fan, but they're not all bad. The other thing that I learned as I've been going through all this is in terms of rehoming your pet, which there's a lot of judgment about that I see, and I kind of feel it myself in a lot of ways, but I understand that the cost of veterinary care these days and people, their own illnesses, they have, family situations. It's unfortunate, but I have read a lot about being very careful in rehoming your pet if you absolutely have to, because there's unscrupulous people who then take them and use them as bait dogs and things, horrible things. So how do you know if you're going to rehome your dog? What's the best way to do that?
So the best way to do it is
call Delia.
To do it. Don't. First of all, don't do it. But advertising in an area where you feel, like a neighborhood site, or you don't want to like rehome a dog and be putting it on things that you remember Craigslist using you have no idea who's on there. And but I think asking questions, doing a home visit, things like that. To be honest, it's hard these days to rehome a dog because there are so many out there that need homes. And of course, everyone should try. If you really can't keep an animal, you should try. But I would say definitely network through your own network, through friends and family, and versus like
try to make it personal. Yeah.
Well, this is so informative, Delia, and we have a group of moms who have questions for you, and they are our Zoomer moms. So welcome, Zoomer moms. Welcome to the Moms Club.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, ladies. Well, I mentioned in the opening that I was partly inspired to do all of this by a Zoomer mom who is here with us today. And I told her, I saw her posts online is where I got involved, and they were so moving. I told her, if for some strange reason I'm ever on death row, I want her to write my appeal because it's so emotional. Like it'll be like, this adorable dog is just a few months old and he has 3 hours to live. Help me. And then you got to help him. So she's done a great job. And it's Veronica from Georgia. Veronica, welcome to the Moms Club.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. As she said, I'm Veronica. I'm from Atlanta, which is Clayton County. I don't actually live there, but I have 2 adult sons, Jeremy and Austin, and my full-time job has become Clayton. Overtime, full-time, no sleep, whatever it is, to see that these dogs get seen. It's been, I also work for some rescues, like legitimately work unpaid, just so that they'll pull Clayton dogs. I'm new to rescue too. So I've become obsessed with the Inside the Moms Club once I found out about her.
Well, thank you.
Well, we have all of the educational input with the giggles in between have been so refreshing.
Well,
I loved it.
We all need to laugh. That's our motto here.
Yes. I would say, as someone new a year. And my sister I pulled her in and she's quit twice. So what's mindset that you would recommend for someone that's in transport or rescue that they need to keep going? Because sometimes it's hard.
That's a good question.
A long time, so I would love to know.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is such a great question. Well, first of all, kudos to you for jumping in, getting involved and getting others involved. That is awesome. And yes, I have been involved for a very long time and have gone through lots of different stages. Sadness, outrage, anger, frustration, despondence. There have been times where I had to step back a little bit, for my own mental health, but not give up. That's the thing. I think it's so, just like with anything, with any cause, it is so important to realize, okay, we're not going to change, you and I and all the passionate volunteers, we're not going to change this overnight or even in our lifetime. But if we can make a difference and if we can focus on some of those happy ending stories that otherwise would not have happened, that is what keeps you going. And you're probably like me in that, I think at one of my low points in rescue, I became very obsessed with like the numbers, well, if we can't get them all out, then what is it all worth? And what is it, this is just so sad. And if we can't affect everything, and you just can't go there or you'll make yourself crazy. And there are going to be some.
That's a really good point.
And I've had some, really sad, dogs that I really wanted to make it out onto a transport, and they didn't. They got euthanized. And I think you just, like anything, focusing on, okay, step by step, it was a happy ending for that story.
I think if you can help one dog.
And telling those happy endings.
Yes, too, and you get to tell the success story. I mean, I felt this way when I was on mission trips as a nurse. When you go and you have thousands of people that you're trying to help, you can't look out and focus on those thousands of people. You have to look what's in front of you and what you're saving. And I think that goes for the dogs as well.
Well, and even last week, I had a happy story because there was a dog at Clayton County, Oscar, a Labradoodle, who the picture was so bad. The hair, like his hair, they let the hair grow. Like he was hair everywhere. Oh. And I told Veronica, I said, like, how much money do I need to send you? Because no one should die because they had a bad hair day.
A bad hair day,
So he got a great haircut and he got rescued. And that just thrills me. I will always think of that every time I'm feeling a little bit down on the Saturdays.
And shockingly, he was only 9 months old. We had no idea.
You had no idea.
10 months old.
Oh,
He's
wow.
just never been groomed.
Oh, wow.
Veronica, what's this website that you found her on?
Veronica, real quick, where can they find you in Clayton County? If people that want to help,
Instagram.
Go to Instagram.
I'd love to have any followers. It's Clayton County Animal Control Volunteers.
Okay,
nice.
Clayton is animal control, not a shelter, and that's the reason they have such a low budget.
That sounds okay. Well, go in there and help Clayton County. Yeah. Erica, welcome to the Moms Club. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and do you have a question for Delia?
Yes, hi, I'm Erica. It's a pleasure to be here. I live up in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. I'm a mom of one. I have an 8-year-old daughter and a husband and a daughter who are very much wanting a dog. So this is so inspiring on so many levels, and you really persuaded me. I'm the director of communications for Woodlock Resort. We're a 3-property resort in the Poconos, a spa, golf course, and family resort. And so, yes, I think I'm a different part of the country than everybody else. But a pleasure to be here. And it's been wonderful listening, Delia, and really inspiring again. Like, I think I have, dreams of my own of starting, a nonprofit. And I love what you said about just sort of taking that first step. You don't have to do everything at once, but you need to, make moves to do something. And I am a huge animal lover. So again, pleasure to be here. My question for you, I'd be curious as to how many employees you currently have with your nonprofit, and also, sort of, I know this is always a weird question, but let's say in the next 3 to 5 years, how would you like to grow and sort of what are your goals? Because I mean, it sounds like you're doing amazing things already in sort of the short time that you've had the organization.
Yes. Oh, great question. And this is so funny, Erica. It's a small world. So I know Woodlock very well because my real full-time paying job is Farmhouse Fresh Skincare, which is
Yes.
how I originally got to know these ladies. And we've worked with Woodlock in the past. So,
Yes, I'm sorry I failed to mention. Yes, the lodge at Woodlock, the spa. Yeah, it's such a
yes.
funny small world, and you have amazing products.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
True.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, and
absolutely.
so yeah, to answer I love that you have bigger aspirations to do something and maybe do something in the nonprofit world. I will say when I started Archangel Animal Network and I just well, I'll give you a little background, but I still work full time for Farmhouse Fresh. So I do Archangel Animal Network on the side and in my spare time. But honestly, I just thought, you know what? I am going to start this and I can make it whatever I want to be. You know, if it needs to stay very small scale, it can, but I can know that I have a 501c3 status and I can, try to get donations for transports that way. That's going to help. So right now, I just do this on my own. I don't have any full-time employees, but I have a board of directors. Yeah, and I just work very closely with shelter partners, and when I work with them to coordinate the transports, they have volunteers. So they have volunteers, and the goal is someday to have some property where dogs can be housed who are waiting for transport or sanctuary. That I feel like is my next step as a nonprofit. But that's a pretty big step, and I would say to anyone, it doesn't have to be a huge endeavor. You can just start. I knew that I wanted to start with just some volunteers, and I've last year I moved from Texas to Idaho. So I don't have the volunteers here that I used to, but you would be amazed at how many people want to volunteer. So I would say, if you are looking to start something or at some point, do not hire people as employees right away. People want to volunteer. And if you task them with, jobs that they can have ownership, people love that. They feel very vested in, I'm in charge of social media, or I'm in charge of the website, or I'm in charge of t-shirts. So sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent.
No, you want to feel useful. Monica and I looked at each
that's
other.
Great. I mean, and Erica, let's get together and let's start that nonprofit because I think that. But I like to think big. So let's have that big piece of property. And I recently saw some property. It's in Pennsylvania actually, where they have little tiny houses for the shelter pets. Can you imagine?
Yes.
We could have a property. They could also have a spa. Let's put it all together. Let's think big.
Yes.
We can always look for that. What our ultimate goal is. And actually, Woodlock, I can't wait to go.
I
there.
know. I mean,
I love that.
I love how we just put Farmhouse Fresh and Woodlock together.
Like this is a great show. This is an important show, and also a
place.
Yeah,
we're right now, sort of tying up the summer. It's very busy right now, and it's always this time of year is so beautiful, especially.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm always so sad to see summer end, but fall is incredible as well. So anytime the invite's out there.
Okay, well, I accept.
Exactly.
You will see me there for sure. Suzanne, welcome to the Moms Club. Where are you from? Tell us a little about yourself, and do you have a question?
So Suzanne Britton. Well, let's see. I'm originally from upstate New York, so I totally understand where you're coming from, ladies. I went to Ithaca College. I'm sure you know Ithaca is gorgeous. And I came out here like a long time ago, California, Los Angeles. And I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist. So
That's amazing.
I work a lot with anxiety. I work with people who are, in all sorts of situations with trauma or divorce or, whatever's causing you stress. So that's what I do. And I have a son, and he's 28. He just turned 28, which is weird because I'm only 30.
Exactly. I don't know how that, I was like,
That
really?
does happen.
Really?
Trust me, I know that well. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. That happens a lot.
And I love this community. You guys are amazing. And I'm surrounded by rescue out here. Like all of my friends are in rescue. It's the thing to do. Especially after that big COVID boom, right? Everybody had to have the puppy, and then they gave the puppies back. But I have good friends there in rescue. But I have a question, which is, first of all, something technical. What's the best pet insurance? Because my friends are always looking for great pet insurance. And if you can't answer that question,
that's a good question, because you know what? That's why a lot of people will give their puppy or dog back.
Yes.
It's gotten so expensive that it's
I
crazy.
wish I knew the answer to that. I don't, but what I do know is that it is key to get pet insurance like in the beginning, like as soon as you adopt or when they're young, and
because they won't cover pre-existing. So that's
exactly.
And also, what is your connection in Los Angeles? Do you have people out? Okay, so do you fly, like if I have I work with a shelter out here, and I fostered, and I love dogs, I love animals. What is your connection out here? Do you fly animals from out here to separate places too? Or is it just locally that you fly from to other places?
Good question.
Great. Yeah, that's a really good question. And I know, probably anyone who's watching or listening probably has the same thing. They're thinking about their own community. So I primarily focus on Texas dogs because I know I have relationships with the sending shelters there. And we've formed relationships with the receiving rescues. However, I have a lot of different connections because I've worked with different transporters who come, to the Los Angeles area. Have you heard of Dog is My Co-Pilot? Does that name sound familiar?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I've worked with them in the past. They actually fly dogs from different areas. So from my organization, there are lots of organizations that are sort of similar to me. It really is all about finding those partners, the sending shelters, and then like the rescues that will receive the dogs, and then kind of connecting the dots either way. Like, okay, well, is there a transport that goes this way? Okay, it could bring dogs from, California to upstate New York. So sort of just really a lot of networking. And I'd be happy to kind of look at some other, transporters that I've worked with before to see, who is taking dogs where, if that's what you're asked to.
Do you work with specific? I know there are actual companies that obviously you're talking about that transport animals, but what about like actual transportation of animals? Like if I have an animal I'm taking somewhere, is Delta one of the best airlines to do that? Do we?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
It is a complicated. So there are ground transports, and then there are flight transports, and it really depends on the type of dog, the distance. I have heard flight transports are can be a little bit scary if the dog goes into cargo.
And the vaccines too. They have to have doctor's records and all that stuff. Do you guys have to do that too? Do you have to have records for the dogs? Yeah.
Yes. So they have to have any animal who is transported from over state lines. They have to have a health certificate prior to transport to make sure there's no contagious diseases. So what my group does primarily is just work to do kind of group transports, like take from a shelter. Okay, these dogs, we have, we have this group up in, let's say, Oregon and, Montana, who they said they can accept some dogs, and then they'll select from the list of available dogs from my partner shelters. I know that's a little bit confusing, but
I get it. Now I have actually a lot more clear, so I understand what you do, like specifically now. And I was reading up on it. What you do is amazing. Everybody who's in any kind of animal protection has my vote. So thank you so much for doing everybody what you do. And this is such a beautiful community. And I was watching all the old Sex and the City reruns. Oh, I just love that community of women. We just need it. It just
that's
grounds
what we're
us, doesn't
about.
it?
That's what the Moms Club is about, for sure. Well, thank you. And thank you, Zoomer Moms, for all the great questions and for being here. So, Delia, as always, we have to put a big plug in. We all look glowing here today because we're all using Farmhouse Fresh. So we have a big plug for that. Well, tell us where our audience can help volunteer or donate to Archangel Animal Network.
Exactly.
So I'll give you a couple different things of ways that you can help. I would say if anyone is listening and they want to help locally, contact your local shelter or rescue and see about volunteering, see how you can go in and help spread the word. If you want to donate to an organization like Archangel Animal Network, you can know that you are directly helping an animal be saved from the euthanasia list, and it's going to go to a happy home, and you don't have to do any of the work of finding the home and fostering it. You just get to know that your donation. And I mainly do, it's all on Facebook. My website is actually down at the moment. It's under construction. So everything is on Facebook. It's Archangel Animal Network, and it has links to PayPal donations. It has a donate button.
Great.
And we have some big transports coming up in September and every single month. So I'll be sharing some pictures there of some of the dogs that any sort of donation will help to sponsor and will help to, help them get a new life. So
I think that's super because
Yes.
people can't foster all the time. They can't necessarily have extra time depending on what's going on in their life. So like she said, you're saving an animal by donating to this.
Yeah.
So
I think that's great. Well, help the Archangel Animal Network, and also don't forget the dogs in Clayton County. But check out that site.
That's right.
Although be sure and have your credit card and your Kleenex handy because she's really good. Like I said, at putting
really
together
good.
those videos, so you'll be inspired too when you can help them. Well, thank you so much, ladies. And I want to make a special mention of our good friend Beth Bigler, who has written Honoring Our Animals, which she helps people as they're going through pet bereavement and like preparing for that time, sadly. My dog Cookie has liver cancer.
Yes,
and it's not looking so great right now. But you know what? I mean, I'm glad there's people like Beth who are helping people like me get through that time. So check out her book. She is doing fantastic. And we'd also like to thank our sponsors, New Calm, which we love New Calm because New Calm keeps us rested.
It keeps us happy roommates.
And we get along together because, once we could dump the Seinfeld episodes, we used to sleep to Seinfeld every night because that was
you used to sleep to Seinfeld.
Used to keep you awake. We have to share a room when we're here in LA. So, but we now use New Calm to stay good friends.
That's right.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Doggy Express.
Love it.
Which is a women-owned dog treat bakery and pottery venue for you and your dog. They offer gourmet dog treats, cakes, pup cakes, jerky, and ice cream. I'm just getting hungry even thinking about it. All treats are made and decorated in-house in small batches without preservatives, and you can order them from the doggyexpress.com. So you'll absolutely love it. My dogs love them for sure. Well, thank you. I can't believe the time is gone, but I feel like we've accomplished something. I hope we have. I hope that if we've saved...
I feel a lot more educated.
That's what the point... That's what I said.
Really, honestly.
I wanted to educate people because when I got into this, I was like, okay, well, how can I really help?
Right.
Because I want to help, but I don't know what to do. So we want to just keep it going. Let's keep helping. Yeah. If you want to donate, or Erica, you and I are going to start something. I mean, let's do our part for sure.
Okay.
I'm
in.
The time has passed way too fast. Can you believe it? It's here
so
in our
happy to
new
be
studio
here.
setting here.
Yeah.
But we will be back, ladies, moms out there next time with celebrities and extraordinary moms just like you. We know your me time is precious and valuable. Thank you for spending it with us. So, Delia, how can we find you on social media?
Yes. So the best way to find Archangel Animal Network is so on Facebook, it's Archangel Animal Network, or Instagram, Archangel Animal Network 75, and you'll see some of the happy ending stories, some of the transports that we've sponsored, and just gives a little bit more detail of how it all works. Mainly everything is on Facebook. That's sort of the hub.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll check it out. Thank you, Zoomer Moms, for joining us today. Those were great questions. They were amazing, as we say here on the Moms Club. And also, everybody out there in the country, look for your newest favorite club, which we're going to have. That's right. We don't call them Moms Clubs. We call them the Mom-tourage. So go find your Mom-tourage in your city near you. We're planning events pretty soon in Nashville, Dallas, Atlanta. We're going to be all over the country pretty soon, and you'll have a new group of friends.
That's right. Everyone needs it. Bring your
friends, because we believe that's the whole
premise.
Idea. Yeah, we believe in women's friendships and connections, and bring your friends and then meet new friends.
That's right.
All over the country. Yeah. We have a motto here on the Moms Club, which is amazing. If you don't laugh sometimes, ladies, you are going to cry. So keep laughing, keep your chin up, and we'll see you next time inside the Moms Club.